I think, shall we start? Okay, good morning. Very good morning and welcome to Intouch Cafe. You'll be wondering what is Intouch Cafe, right? Like, in fact, last time also I missed to talk about that. Intouch Cafe is one of the concept which we are dreaming for quite a long time from the day of one of the Intouch. It is kind of a Christian coffee shop where with a lot of Christian music and books, people can play music and good food and facility for counseling. Yes, this is what we are dreaming about. Yeah, hope one day they will come in a reality. Okay, so welcome. So today I planned, in fact, I planned for a snack, but by the time all put together, it looks like it's become a full meal. So I suggest you to keep it in your heart, and as in when you're hungry, you can take it out and snack it. Okay. So let's pray. Such an easy one. Okay. And try it, and I hope you'll enjoy it. So let's start. I know we just a couple of weeks back we celebrated Resurrection Sunday. So let me take you to that Sunday early morning scene, third day after the crucifixion. So early in the morning, we can see a couple of ladies, Mary of Magdalene, the other Mary, and a few more ladies, I think. They were all walking towards the tomb where Jesus had been buried or kept the body. So they on the way they are talking about it's a worry. In their conversation, we can find they are all worried about how we are going to move that stone in front of the tomb, and who will help us to take the body. This conversation is full of worry. So when they reached, they found and amazed to see that stone is already been moved. They rushed inside. You know the story. They went inside. Body is missing. Found an angel there. Angel is asking why you are looking for the living among the dead. So, and one more thing he asked. Don't you remember? He was promised you that he will rise on the third day. That's the part they missed it. Yes, they forgot the promise and was worried. Again, I'll take you to another scenario where Jesus, after preaching to the crowd, got into the boat and told the disciples, "Come, let's go to the other side." So they all got into the boat, and you know the story. Jesus slept off. The storm hit the thing, and they started worrying. All of them were, especially the disciples. Everybody was so terrified. They woke Jesus up. The first thing Jesus asked, "Where is your faith?" Okay, now we are talking about these people are there with Jesus for years, always walking with them. They are with Jesus. Still, when that storm came and they are losing their faith, even though Jesus is there, right there with them in the boat, but they are not realizing in that. That's our problem too. Where is our faith when storm hits? So what is the solution? I say it is very simple. Just hold on to his promises. We'll often forget God's promises and purposes and start worrying. And later we will be amazed when realize the problems are vanished. So I was just, while preparing this, I was just curiosity, I just Googled to find out how many promises are in the Bible. It says 7,487 promises. This is direct from God to man. So if you calculate every day one, it lasts for 20 plus years. So I suggest take one daily, maybe before food or after food, or one in the early morning or before bed. So that is, your problems will be solved. And actually it is as simple as that. But still, we human beings, the problem is still we'll forget all these when we face the storm and the challenges. Hey, you have the remedy right there with you, but still we are forgetting it. You know, all our problems and challenges are kind of tests. But passing or failing, it's up to you. Okay, how you handle, it all depends on your faith. I remember when I was in the school, I was not a great student. So mother used to, the exam time, mother used to tell me, okay, you do your part, Jam Padi, Devam Padi. That means you do your part, God will do the rest. So I used to tell even gods that 50% is enough for me to pass. So anyway, things will not work that way. So you do your part and God will do the rest. So what is your part? So that is a thing where we are going to look at it. Hope you will understand it in the end of the session. There was a test for Abraham too. Genesis 28:22 starts like this. Sometime later, God decided to test Abraham. And we know the test. God asked Abraham to sacrifice his only son, Isaac. I think Abraham would have really confused. God already gave him a promise that he will make him a big nation. And now God is asking to sacrifice only son, and how the promise is going to fulfill. Still, Abraham obeyed. So I in my note, I made it into capital letters and took Isaac. So Abraham obeyed and took Isaac and was almost ready to sacrifice him. But you know, Abraham's faith in God was so strong. In Hebrews 11:17-19, we read like this: Abraham believed that his God is capable of rising his son from the death, even he sacrificed him. Okay, sometimes you might get confused with some promises and the contradictions, maybe like Abraham in this situation. But there is no confusion for God. He knows what he is doing and he knows the end result. So what you need to do is just trust. Sometime there may be a huge time gap between the promise and the fulfillment. I say that is a preparation period. There you need to be patient and faith. I remember the wedding of Anne. We started fix the wedding in 1 January. Okay, plan that wedding is in the December. We started planning on the 12 months before on the Jan. So as people know about our thing, we started with a 0 bank balance. We just trust God, submitted him, and we started the preparation. What we decided is we are not going to borrow or ask anybody. So we started, we didn't stop till the provisions come. We started the preparations. And it's January, February, March, April. It's come November. December is the wedding. It's almost December, November mid. Till then, there is no, nothing happened. We didn't hear anything from God. But we don't know. There was such a peace there in all of us. We never ever discussed about, okay, even though here and there some negativity, some people ask, we'll just brush it off. That is the one thing. The negativity is try to come into you and destroy your faith. So we, by God's grace, we could able to overcome that. And stories like that, around November mid, I'll call it as always, the floodgates of heaven opened, and we had a beautiful wedding. So that's why God was testing us to the brim, almost there. We have all the reason to lose our concentration, and we never had any other plans. We have only planned this. We have no plan B or C. So we were 100% on God's reins and thing, and it's happened. But when I explain these testimonies to people, somebody asked me, okay, it's all, we agree you had a trust and you are waiting. But what if it didn't happen? Yeah, that is a very tricky question, $1 billion question. So I used to say, okay, if that is it, if that is a God's plan, I have no other way. I'll have to accept it. But again, there is another promise used to pop up there. When you ask for bread, he won't give you stone. Even God promised Abraham that he will make him a great nation. But you know how many years it took to fulfill the promise? I think he received the promise when he was around 75 years, as per Genesis 12. And Isaac was born when he was 100 years. And Isaac was a teenager or even still a young man, grown up, and when Abraham took him to the mountain. So many decades have passed. And we have all the reasons to, okay, forget about the promise. But Abraham didn't lose his faith in the promise, and he waited patiently. So there is thing is the patience. Oh, after that mountain episode, God told Abraham, since you obeyed me, I bless you and make you a great nation. And we also read in Hebrews 6:15. So after waiting patiently, Abraham received what was promised. So the key things are there. He obeyed and waited patiently. When God is giving you a promise, in fact, there is nothing else you need to do except just obey, trust, and wait patiently. Please understand with whom you are dealing with. He is the Jehovah Jireh, the provider. He does it in supernatural ways. And deeper you know his promises, the deeper your worship will be. And I written that for every situation, there is a purpose. And in every purpose, there is a promise. Let me just repeat it. For every situation, there is a purpose. And in every purpose, there is a promise. Okay, how many of you have received promise? Definitely, all of us have received some promises in some juncture of our life. When I landed in Bangalore in 2006 as a big zero, I received a promise through many people, pastors and people who have prayed with me. But a lot of people gave me the one promise, Joel 2:25. I'll repay you for the years of locusts have eaten. But I had no clue how God is going to do that. But you know, the hope, the confidence, the assurance that promise gave me was beyond my imagination. So that gave me so much of strength. So God is going to do something. And I don't have to really every day think of that alone. In fact, I once in a while, we'll remember that promise. He's going to repay what the locusts have eaten. I thought he's going to give me back all the wealth I have lost. and you don't believe craziness. So we always wonder how God is going to do it. So I used to buy lottery tickets. In Kerala, that is a big thing. So this is, I'm trying to help God. So I don't know how God is. It's a big thing. Okay, He want to give me back a lot of money, means how God is going to do it. So I thought I'll help him, a helping hand. Okay, I'll just buy a couple of lottery tickets. So it's very easy for him. Jackpot, done. We realize the foolishness, and I think let's not give ideas to God. His ways are beyond our imagination, beyond our comprehension. Now, after 13 years, yeah, I received that promise in 2006. And after 13, 14 years, after receiving that promise, when I look back, all my heart's desires have been fulfilled. And definitely not the way I thought He'll do it, but beyond my imagination and thing, He fulfilled everything. Nothing more I can ask. And I was dead. I was dead one day. Technically, 3 years back, I was dead on the emergency table in a hospital. No heartbeat. And He revived me. Just a shock, and I'm up, back to life. And I strongly believe God brought me back to life to fulfill His promise. Amen. Initially I used to wonder why there should be a purpose. Yeah, now that His promise was not fulfilled, so He brought me back from death. He's a promise-keeping God. When you get a promise, I suggest use it as a pillow. Just sleep, relax on that pillow, and that pillow will become your pillar soon. Just rest and be rest assured. While you sleep, He will make it pass and fulfill it. Amen. Oh, obviously, there may be delay. Yeah, we have seen it in Abraham's case also. But it's not denial. It's the preparation time. Be patient. Psalm 37:4-5 says, take delight in the Lord, and He'll give you the desires of your heart. Commit your ways to the Lord. Trust in Him, and He will do this. God provides, obviously, God provides your heart's desire, what you need, but not necessarily what you want. There's a huge difference between what you need and what you want. For example, if I started praying for a Mercedes Benz, I'm sure He's not going to grant it. He knows what I have now is more than enough for me. But you remember when, what I will tell you, when I didn't have a car, when I landed in Bangalore, I didn't have a car. And that was the one thing I was missing. We never lived without a car. But I'm in Coimbatore, in Bangalore, no car and using public transportation. Always there was a cry in my heart. But I didn't even pray for it. But without even praying, asking for it, He provided me with one miraculously. He knows your heart's desires. Surrender and submit your desires to Him. And what are the change? His desires will become your desire. People can disappoint you with their promises. But understand? But you understand God's character. He will not lie. He's able to do what He promised exceedingly, abundantly, beyond your expectations. He is a faithful God. So let's rejoice and glad in Him. I'm not blaming you all for the trust issue. It's the decision issue. But even the disciples had that same issue. We heard that story of traveling in the boat, and the storm came, and when Jesus was want to feed the multitudes. All of a sudden, these disciples get the worry, and the faith will become an issue. I remember I read a story somewhere. A small little girl is traveling in a flight alone, and all of a sudden, flight got into some turbulence, very heavy turbulence. People all in the flight started yelling, and they're all scared, worried. But this little girl was very calm and quiet. So the guy sitting next to her asked, "Why everybody is worried, and are you not scared?" So that girl's simple reply was, "No, I'm not worried because my father is the pilot. I know he'll take me safe." So that's the kind of trust we must have. The Father in heaven will take you safe. Trust he will be there with you in any storm. And also trust he can calm any storm. Lord never promised we will never see a storm in life. As a matter of fact, he has told us to expect trouble in John 16:33. Yeah, Lord never promised we will never see a storm. Rather, he has promised he himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you or nor forsake you. Do not be afraid and do not be discouraged. Deuteronomy 31:8. Sometimes we'll fall into some temptations, okay, human beings, and we tend to go away from God, and we're reluctant to come back, that guilty conscience. But I urge you, encourage you, please repent and come back to God. He will be more than happy to receive you and forgive you, like the prodigal son and the father story. God's promises are solutions to your problems, current or future life. Upon knowing his promise, trust that that is for you. And you have to claim it and cling on to it. Also, I really, really urge you to practice your faith. Make it as a lifestyle. I always believe that is a fundamental, basic thing. And trust, believing in God and not having faith will not go together. As per my experience, once you really practiced the faith, your life will be very easy. He might test you to the edge, okay, definitely. It will check your trust level, but he will not leave you. Beyond all other promises, I urge you to look into this one promise and hold on to it. John 14:2-3. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also. Let that be our ultimate goal. God's promises are the power. Genesis 28:15 says, I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. And also in Psalms 119, 140, your promises have been thoroughly tested. Over the span of 4,000 years, okay, from Abraham period till now, almost 4,000 years, God's promises in the Bible have been thoroughly tested and found it to be trustworthy. So what is our problem? Abraham was 100 and Sarah was 90 when Isaac was born. They themselves had zero ability to bear children. The key was Abraham's confidence and faith that God had power to do what he had promised. So we'll try to summarize it. So why should you believe in the promises? I've found few points. So asking you to why you should believe in promises. The Bible is the historical record of absolute reliability of God's promises. The Bible's promises have always proven trustworthy, so you can rely on them. If you can believe in God, you can count on his promises too, because the promiser is faithful. If God has promised, his word is true. His commitment to keep his word is 100%. God will not change his mind. Promises are free gifts of his grace. Just grab it. If we can count on the promises of God, because Jesus is saying yes and amen to all these promises on your behalf. So let me conclude with my favorite, Romans 8:31. Yes. If God be with us, who can be against us? That's my favorite, which I received more than 40 years back, even much before even I am coming to Lord, or even I started reading. I just heard it from somewhere and it just got into my heart. And it made a lot of sense to me. Just think of that. If God be with us, so there is one if. Let there be no ifs and buts in our life. If God be with us, so just imagine God is standing next to you. And I don't think you will be afraid of any storm or anybody coming against you. You're just standing there. Come on, my big brother is here. So you really don't need to worry. But practice your faith and experience that peace. Nothing will touch you or trouble you. For me, I'm personally enjoying that peace. For me, if some worry comes to my mind, in fact, I feel guilty, very guilty conscious, like equal to a sinning. So I'm really practicing that faith part. Even sometime back when I was out of projects. I have no projects for almost after the demonetization period, almost for 14 months. Absolutely, I haven't have any work. I haven't have any project. No projects, no money. But you don't believe. All of us, we were very cool, and we were in peace. And he took care of us beautifully. We didn't miss a meal. We didn't miss any comfort. And you don't believe, during that period, we fixed Sarah's wedding too. And again, he beautifully did that wedding too, in his appropriate time, in his time and in his miraculous way. So your only duty is to make sure that God is always there with you. So in the beginning, I asked you, what is your part? It's very simple. Receive the promise, obey, trust, and be patient, and it will be fulfilled. John 16:33. I have told you these things so that I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In the world you have tribulations and distress and suffering, but be courageous. I have overcome the world. Amen. Hope it was a blessing for you. Practice it. It's a very simple recipe. It's all the ingredients are there with you. I really urge you to practice it. It'll be yummy. So, crispy promises in tangy faith, garnished with greater patience. God bless you. Thank you.